minutes.
Yeah, I did.
Were there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
None that I know of.
Okay, you've got something,
Oh,
Peg?
I think I do have.
All right.
I just want to, I'm not saying this is a correction exactly.
All right.
But go to the sanitation. And who is May? M-A-Y. What's that mean?
May, what with?
The very first word after sanitation.
Let me find it.
It's probably just a typo.
What's that?
Probably a typo.
Okay, because I wondered. I
What
didn't know.
page is that? 'Cause
What's that?
I'm not having any luck finding it.
Me either.
Right,
Oh, I see it.
right.
May started,
May stated. And I said, who's May?
Is it supposed to be Mary Jane? May? I have no idea.
I wonder if it is.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is not a correction, but why did we only have one bid for the tearing down of the Beaver Dam? Why was, am I correct in saying there's only one bid?
It was specialized, yes, that's
What
correct. There was specialized equipment involved in that. It had to be a track hoe of some kind to get back in there. Because it's not on the street,
Right.
it needed to have some special transportation. It was below the limit of requiring a bid. And, yeah, we didn't have pricing from anyone else. We didn't get any pricing from no one else offered.
Did you want any? Did you, how is it, do we require, like Ralph here in the street? He said, he was asking for bids from three companies, am I right, Ralph? That's what it says right here. I said it.
On which street you're talking about?
The parking lot of the library.
Yes,
Okay, you asked for three bids.
they did not get three bids.
Well, that's irrelevant. What I want to say is why, I didn't understand why we did not get bids for this $2,500.
We talked to two people about it.
Okay,
One person was on another job out of town and wouldn't be able to get to it. And we were being pushed by the county to get it done. Plus, it made sense with all the rain we've been having to get it done as fast as possible. The other person gave us the bid, and so we went with that one.
okay. Who is that company from? Where is that company from?
The first one
The one that did the
that
work.
did the work, I'm not sure. We'd have to look it up.
Is it
I can
Doug
see
Dollar?
that. Huh?
Is it Doug Dollar? He's from New Madison.
New Madison? Okay, thank you.
that wasn't me that stated that, it was
It was me,
county.
right.
Because I haven't talked to the county.
I'm sure.
Sure.
I remember Kathy
It
bringing
should
it
have
up.
been, yeah.
How you gonna make that right?
What's that?
May?
May should
I'll
read
change it.
mayor, we could correct that.
Uh-huh.
Are there other, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Mayor? Okay.
Are there any other corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, Chair entertains a motion to approve them as corrected.
So moved.
Second,
Mary Jane?
yes.
Luther?
Yeah.
Peggy?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the warrants and the payroll time sheets?
So moved,
Second.
Mary Jane?
yes.
Luther?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the transfer of interest to the respective funds.
Motion made.
Second,
Luther?
Yeah.
Mary Jane?
yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the transfer from the general fund to the police fund for operating costs.
So moved.
Second.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Luther?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
And is there a motion to approve grant matching fund transfer from the general fund to the street department fund?
Make a motion.
Second.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Luther?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I have just a couple things this evening. First thing, I just wanted to let you know, when I was here last month, we talked about the park application to submit to the Ohio Development Services Agency, and I have done that. And they have gotten back with me a couple times now, and they're supposed to be sending me a date that they're actually going to come to New Paris and look at what we have. At this point, they're basically telling me that they think all they have available is loan funds. And so I'm trying to figure out exactly what that interest rate would be to see if we'd even be interested. But I'd still like them to come out here and see what you have. Sometimes I think if they see what's going on, they might, realize that it's a little specialized situation since it's not the average brownfield building sitting on the corner that some company left, vacant. It's actually a different situation. I've explained all that to them, but, sometimes, looking at it's worth more than any words you can say. So as soon as I hear something back from them, I will let you know. I told them I thought you were available most of the time, Kathy.
Most of the time, I'll
Okay.
be out of here from the 17th through the 20th.
Of May.
Yeah, but any other time I can be available.
As soon as she gets me some dates, she's supposed to be doing, and I think she's gonna bring somebody from the High Water Development Authority with her as well. So, which I'm fine, more the merrier.
Bring
You
it
know what I'm
all.
saying?
Yes,
That's
I
kind
do.
of what I'm thinking.
I do.
So,
Get them all at the same time, then we'll get it done faster.
yeah, they're all gonna come together, so that's kind of the idea. So that she's supposed to get back with me with some dates, but I just kind of wanted to run that past you to make sure that
Yes.
what your schedule was.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
I'll make sure of yours.
Then also, I have, for the Spring Street Bridge, we have been working with ODOT on that, and as of Friday, they sent us an email, and we originally were going to just replace the deck. Then they came along and said, no, you can't replace just the deck, you need to replace the whole thing. So, okay, so if you remember, we talked to them, they gave us some extra money to be able to match the 95% replace the whole thing. Now they say, oh gee, maybe we just want to replace the deck. So, we've got to call into them, that we called today to say, okay, what changed, what's the deal? Why is it you wanted the whole thing replaced when we were just going to do the deck, and now you want to go back to the deck? Obviously replacing the deck's cheaper for you because you take 5% of whatever the construction amount is. So I'm waiting to hear something back from them in regards to that. If everybody decides that doing the deck is okay, then you'll have to basically sign off on that as a community.
And that would entail just replacing what's there right now.
Yeah, basically everything would come up. We would put new composite beams down, and then we put a new deck on top of it. But the actual wing walls that, the abutment walls down actually in the creek will stay. And then we'll just basically take the top off and then put new beams on it because it has steel beams in there now that are really, really rusty and deteriorated. And then we'll put a non-composite type beam on and then put a new deck on top of that. And then it'll be paved. So that's kind of where they're going now. I don't really know why they've all of a sudden changed their mind after all this time, when that was what we wanted to do to begin with. And they said, oh, no, we want you to put in a 3-sided culvert, which is kind of what you have down there. The other one is a 3-sided culvert down there on Walnut Street.
Well, then I'm definitely not in favor of that.
Yeah.
That is the biggest mess
Yeah.
ever created.
Yes, I agree. So anyway, I will keep you updated as we talk with them to try to figure out, what they're going to allow us to do. So, but I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. And then lastly, I have a pay request for East Cherry Street from Prograde, and this is for the removal include any of the curb. They have not billed for any of the curb yet, even though it's all practically in. That'll be on next month's pay request. So the amount that they're asking for is $148,195.22. So I need an approval for that.
148 was.
148, 195, 22.
And, yes, storm sewer, and then removals of the curb, the sidewalk, anything that came out. And then that will involve 84, $83,449.84 will come from the CDB, or no, $64,745.38 will come from the CDBG funds, and the remaining $83,449.84 will come from the Ohio Public Works. You don't have to approve it that way, you just approve the total, but that'll be kind of the breakdown. Right.
If you remember, that's done in two, we have grants in two different parcels, from Washington up to Spring, and then from Spring on out to the edge of town. So that's what we're talking about when we say we do the
What was the total?
split.
148, 195.22.
Okay.
In the first phase, which, that's the Ohio Public Works Commission money. The second phase, which bring on, is the CDBG funds through the county. So the county will use those dollars.
Your motion.
148 is for what, sidewalks and curbs?
No, it's what's done now.
The storm sewer,
Oh,
and then like digging out the curb, digging out the sidewalk, anything that they had to dig out, and then laying all the storm sewer. That's what this bill is for.
So you need a motion then?
I do.
I make a motion that we approve the, both the monies for the grant.
Okay, just, if you just approve, pay
Approve that
request number
total.
2,
Huh?
the 148, 195.22.
Okay.
I'll second.
For a total of
Right, there you go.
I'll second.
148.
148, 195,
Correct.
Mary Jane,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Luther,
yes.
Peggy,
Yes.
Ralph.
Here.
Okay.
Then the other thing I have is I do have a change order for the project, and basically it is for 2 items. One item is for a retaining wall in front of 509 East Cherry Street, which is kind of down across from where Ralph lives. There's a retaining wall in there, and when Vectren did their gas replacement, they disturbed that wall. And so there's no way, the wall also sits on top of the sidewalk. So there was no way that we could remove the sidewalk without disturbing their wall. So we talked with them, and basically, we took the wall out for $158.40, and then that yard will just be regraded, and there will not be a wall that goes back. And then the other item was, when they did the cutout for the curb, they ran into some concrete pavement that was underneath the regular pavement from where the water line was put in. So there's an additional $1,278 for removal of that concrete. So the total change order is $1,436.40. And that will come out of the Phase 2 project, because it's all done on that end. And so it'll be covered by the grant money. So it's no additional cost to
we
the
don't need to approve that amount.
Yeah, 143640 is what you need to approve.
What is that change order? Okay.
Times 4.
Is there a motion to approve the change order
Yes.
for $136.40?
Second.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Karen, yes, Luther,
Yes.
Peggy,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
And then there will be another change order, most likely probably next month, and it has to do with replacing 3 broken water valve boxes that are in the corner, or the intersection of Lincoln and Spring Street. Those boxes were broken already, so they're gonna go in and replace the box. The valve's okay, but but they haven't done that work yet, so I will most likely bring that to you next month, but I just wanted to make you aware of it. And I don't know if they had talked to you about that.
I'm aware of it.
I know Jimmy was aware of it, and it was kind of like, okay, what do you want to do? And the comment was, let's fix them while we got the street open, you know, and then we can pave back around and then the boxes will be repaired. And we have approximately $30,000 of contingency funds, so that $2,900 will come out of that 30. So if it's something down there you need to fix, it's better to fix it now before we pave around it, especially since we have extra money to do so.
That retaining wall,
Yes.
you said, you mentioned that the gas company done something to disturb.
They disturbed it on the end, but we were gonna have to do something with it.
It's in the right of way.
Yeah, it's in the right of way, it's sitting on top of the sidewalk. There was no way we could remove the sidewalk to replace it without
Okay.
getting rid of the wall. The other thing that is occurring is down at the very end on the south side, this same person's house, the sidewalk will go to her driveway and stop, because if you go any further, it's just gonna go over there and end into that hill for that driveway that goes up and around. There's a stormwater problem there, and there is a stormwater pipe that actually lets out and brings a bunch of dirt, and all that washes down. And so we've kind of reconfigured that. We've kind of reconfigured that down in there so that there's going to be kind of like a little bit of a retaining wall, and the pipe will actually come out and outlet onto the street, into the curb, and then we're going to basically put an approach in there to be able to control all of that erosion that's going on up in there. So that's kind of already been kind of redesigned in the field, so to speak, and that's going to be occurring, and there will be a change order for that work based on how much actual quantity of whatever there is. But it'll solve that problem on a permanent basis, based on that water that's all coming down that hill. So that's what I have. Question? Okay, all right.
I will tell you, I didn't print out, there was some addenda to this pre-application to the brownfield remediation. And I did print out the actual pre-application if anyone wants to look at it. Along with that, when the report about the asbestos, and what else was in there? Did we fill
There was
in?
a map.
The map, the park,
that showed us the park
and
if
that kind of thing. So it's right here if anybody wants to look at it. It's just a pre-application. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. No problem.
Everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Joe, Mr. Brubaker,
Yes.
why don't you come up here so we can capture what you're saying on the...
Everybody has a copy of the email there I sent in there?
Yes.
Okay.
So that email, I guess, summarizes what we had in mind, what we're looking for. We've been approached multiple times by individuals that would like to have like a tiny concept in place. And really simply what that is it's people that are looking to experience a tiny home for a couple nights, maybe to decide, one, how big of a tiny home would I like to purchase, or what kind of amenities would I like to have in it. And after I researched a little bit, I found that most, actually, tiny home communities that I looked at are pretty well across the board. They're allowing this tiny concept where the owner or the landlord would set up and allow like a model for individual tinies to be used for a night or two for people to use and experience it that way. In fact, one of our approved builders, which is Liberation Tiny, they have a community that's near them that's called Tiny Estates, and they use that concept. I like their model because it's 100% maintained by the landlord and controlled to where people can come in and use it that way. And again, the idea is to expose it, a little bit more on individual styles, tastes, and currently, and we still want to continue this, we currently do not allow the individual tiny home owners to rent out their tiny homes. We mandated that it was to be an owner-occupied community, and we still want to keep that. We want to change that. However, what we would like to do is open it to where, as a landlord, as an owner, we could allow individuals to, on a short-term basis, be able to use it that way. So when I talked to the attorney about it, he recommended, does everyone have a copy of the prescription there?
Yes, well, they have the updated one.
Yes. So the updated change is basically underneath occupancy number 3. At the end of that, basically, it just adds unless managed by the landlord. So all it's saying is we're still restricting owners unless it's managed by the landlord, unless it's us as an owner that would allow a individual, short-term stay like that. So,
I have a question.
okay.
Are you going to purchase a place for this specific, would you need, it will belong to you, the actual tiny home?
I can see it working a couple ways. It either could be a model that we have, that we would be there to show, like if people are looking to.
Which would be given to you by one of the builders?
Correct. It would be one of the
Placed
builders.
on site?
That's correct. It would either be the model or, in some cases, the individual. Maybe there's an individual that is only there part-time and they're not using it all the time. If we had an agreement with them, we could also do the same thing. But again, it's not the individual that owns it. It would be us that would control that.
But the problem is, that's just going around the back door, as far as I can tell, to allow subletting by the owners of the
And you
tiny
charge
homes.
them for staying there?
The individuals,
Yeah.
that's yet to be determined, depending on, the arrangement. But if the individual tiny home owner, I think there's a pretty big difference, because a tiny home owner could list it for sale, or not for sale, but for rent on a individual basis, and that would open it up to where there's a lot of, we have no control at that point. They would just come in with anybody they wanted to rent it.
So why don't you put your own model there and then put a time limit on it? If somebody wants to experience that, they can do it for 48 hours, 72 hours, and you don't need any longer than that.
And that's the idea, is we would control it, whether it's us bringing a model in and/or an individual that wants.
Rather than have like somebody that already owns or whatever like that, having them, police say, let's let somebody come in and then charge them rent. No. Bring in your own model, set a time limit, 48 hours. Huh?
Go ahead, I.
48 hours, 72 hours, you check it out, you see what it is. It gives them time to check out the surroundings. They can drive through the town, see what's here. But they should be able to make a determination whether this is something they want to do, in my opinion, in 48 or 72 hours. That should be plenty of
So like a
time.
3-day max or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like as a guest, no money exchanges?
I don't know, we haven't determined yet
That's-
what that looks like, but if there was a fee charge, of course it would be based on 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights. I would agree
Of course,
with,
to me, that's no different than the other people renting their place out.
there's a difference, because again,
Yeah.
if we allow open rentals, they could put it on Airbnb or any place that manages or rents, and they would attract anybody that comes through the door. And we don't want to allow that. That's what we do not want to allow. What we're saying is, if we are talking, and our people that we market to, that come in and use it, we would have control over who comes in.
Well, another question, so is each one of these salespeople going to be setting up one of those, and then,
Not necessarily.
not
Each builder-
necessarily?
each
I can
builder is
see,
different.
to me, I can see, in my mind, I see where it's going, what I feel like is going to happen, and I disagree with it, but.
Well, that wouldn't happen if they brought in one model.
One model from each company, because
No,
if
no,
this.
no, 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 I'm talking about one model, period. That's what
Okay,
I'm
I
talking about.
know, you're talking about one, but we have given him approval to set up all these other companies. So what if they want to do the same thing, and then they're all going to have a model there? And And then the money's gonna be exchanged for these people staying overnight. I mean, if I was trying to sell my mini home or tiny home, and you let this one company put their model there, I would want my model there too.
Why do we have any of the models there? Why don't these people that have these tiny homes have their models on their own property? That they can come and, why do they have to come to the tiny homes property to see the models when they can see where they're built?
And many of them do.
Well, why are you changing? Why are you wanting them? Why do you want a tiny home to come on the property instead of just having these people that want to buy these homes
Go
go
to the
where they're
company.
built?
Yeah,
And the
what's
people,
where they're selling them.
yeah, they're certainly able to do that if they choose to.
What's the object of having them, for you to have one on your property?
As a model, if we have people that can
Yeah.
stay overnight, they can actually experience where they'll be like a live-in one.
Well, oh,
So like if you was interested in living in a tiny home, you could actually experience it for a couple nights and say, this is what it would feel like. Just sleep in it, to cook in it, is it big enough, do I want something bigger? It allows you to experience it firsthand. And I agree with putting a limit on time. This is not something that we're envisioning to be more than like maybe a 3-day window. That's fine, a 3-night window would be adequate.
So would you still, if these other builders wanted to set a model up there, then they'd be going through the same thing?
As long as it's through us to manage the process. We do not want to
And
allow.
then
Well, you're not going to have 6 models up there, are you?
I don't see that ever happening, but if there was 2 or 3 models, and there's 2 or 3 different builders, and we manage that process, it's the same difference, I think, if we have 1 or 2, it really is the same difference.
1 or 2. What I'm getting at is, I feel like would be discrimination towards these other builders if you just had one. And then if you gave the others permission to bring in one, you're making money off of these people staying overnight, which is,
Business.
it's business. And I would probably want to do the same thing if I was in that situation, but I can see where it's going to get out of hand too.
Yeah, I guess I would ask a question back to you. What is the reason you would not want to allow this? We're not talking about long-term tenancy. People are not moving in with their furniture. This is,
Well, I know that.
so
I
what's-
don't know that. I assume that it comes with furniture and everything in it, maybe, or maybe not, but I think it's going to get out of hand, and people possibly, I can see where there's going to be more models brought in for this same purpose.
I don't really see that changing a lot. I mean, the builder, it's up to the builder to supply a model.
Well, it
If they
is.
want to bring a model, they're welcome to bring a model, certainly. But yet at the same time, builders watch their capital. how
They
much
bring
put
it in,
out.
and then who gets the money for them staying in there? You or the people that brought them on?
We would manage the process.
Okay.
My biggest concern is, if you look at the Article 3 under the covenants and restrictions, and that's what we're talking about, it used to end, shall not be subleased, period.
Right.
Now we're talking about, well, maybe they'll sublease them. This is totally against what we agreed on in the beginning. Now, if it's something that Gerald owns, or even a model home, I suppose, then it's not breaking the covenant that we have set up.
What if he's renting it out?
No, it wouldn't. I mean,
If it's using it like a motel, and
He's not,
different
he's
people's
not
gonna-
using it. like a
unless
motel.
owned and
He will if
managed.
he brings
I don't
it in
think
as a
so.
model. He said, that I'm sure at some point there's gonna start charging people if they wanna stay
Well,
2 nights.
I don't see it that way. I see it as he's trying to sell tiny homes. And he's trying to see if this is what people would like.
He is,
And
but-
this is how, do you want to live like this? I don't see a problem.
The only problem I have, Luther, is truly we agreed that people who own those homes couldn't sublease them. We had a lot of people here worried about, you know, they're gonna get tired of it, they're gonna sublease it, it's gonna fall to rapid ruin. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just
Right,
saying
but
that that's the
he's
reason.
not talking about those people leasing them.
Yes, he is. That's a possibility. He just said so.
Actually, no, I think there's a misunderstanding. If we allow the individuals,
He's gonna do it.
if we allow the individuals.
But it's not his property.
I know.
If we allow the individuals to individually lease out their tiny home, that opens the door for however they want to manage that process. It could be 20 different people doing it 20 different ways. That's what we do not want to have happen. So if we manage the process, there's going to be one way they check in, there's going to be one way they're turned over and clean, so the next person can come in. It's one process across the board.
But it could be every tiny home you have down there.
I don't see that happening.
I
I would even.
No, you didn't see this other happening either, but it's starting to add up.
Maybe it's better to go ahead and put a number on it, say no more than X number. If you're concerned about being too many in there at any given point.
Too many, I don't know, that there's going to be too many people in one place. What I'm concerned about is these other people wanting to set up a model. And you're going to approve them doing that, and then you're going to lease those out too.
As long as.
You don't have,
As long as short term, that would be the.
yeah,
situation.
but what if you're booked up every night? Look at all the help.
You know what? That would probably be the ideal situation for him. I'm just saying, that's not what we envisioned, that's not what we agreed to. It could turn out to be every single, if you allow one person, if you want to go in and manage one person's property, there's nothing that will allow you to just do it for one person. You have to do it for everybody if that's what they want. And it turns into a property management thing instead of a village and a little.
Well, let me ask you something. Instead of them, like letting all these different companies bring in a model, do you have a model of your own?
Not today, we do not.
Well, where I was going with that is if you had a model of your own, and you put that model there and said, okay, this is what tiny living's like, blah, 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 okay? And then if they like it, and then they're going to buy one and put one there, they could go to one of these companies and see what they have.
They need to go to the company first.
Well, if they had just one model they could put there, instead of having to reach out to all these companies to put a model there, put one of their models there, no, just put a model there and let them live in it. See what it's like. You like it? Okay, here's 6 different places you can go and look for one. Instead of, like you said, having everybody have a model down there and leasing it out or renting it out or whatever, you know what I mean?
What's going to stop them from, if we approve this, what's going to stop the others from putting one in there and then?
Because it's controlled by them, and we got to hold them accountable.
One
Right.
thing, the different perspective, I'd like.
We already done that with our first
That
contract.
was our intent, and this is against our intent. If we allow people who own these to sublease them, even through property management, which is what Gerald would be doing. He would be a property manager, the landlord at the, he owns the ground, but he doesn't own the buildings.
Did you ask your attorney about discrimination? If the people that buy a home there and they won't have the right to lease theirs out or let people come in to make money off of it?
I did. Actually, deed restrictions are set up by the owner to follow, to go with the land. And per my attorney, this is permissible. This is something that we have the right zoning, we have the right, everything's in place to allow this to happen. So this is what he suggested, to allow the restriction to remain, because we do not want people to individually lease, but to have it maintained only by the owner or the landlord.
I just don't feel like it's right that just, that's all I have to say.
I'm not concerned so much with a model home there. I mean, that would at least be Gerald's and the builder's total responsibility. I'm concerned that this is going to be owners down there subleasing. I don't care what kind of rules there are, I just feel that that's one of the things we just didn't want to happen. Now, I'm not going to have a vote here, so it's up to you all what you want to do.
But the owners aren't allowed to lease their tiny
But
homes,
they're going
correct?
to do it through Gerald. They're going to get around it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's very possible that they could say, I bought this, I'm going to be gone for 2 months, let's sublease it to somebody else. That can happen and then everybody can do it. You can't just say, oh, one person can do that. Everyone would be allowed to sublease. And they would surely go through Gerald, who would...
Well, maybe I'm misunderstanding here. I thought that the owners of these tiny homes, leasing them out of the question.
Well, that's
Okay.
how it was before,
Okay, out of the
unless
question.
managed by the landlord. See,
Okay,
that's,
but I thought the model home was going to be placed there by them to let people come and stay for 24 or 48 or 72 hours to see if this is what they would like, if this is how they would want to live.
okay, let's just, Gerald, answer me. If somebody's going to be gone for a month, they're leaving in 1st of August, they won't be back in September. And they own the tiny home there. And they come to you and they say, we want this, we're going to put this in your hands, and can you lease it? And I don't care if you lease it for a week at a time, 3 days at a time, it's still subleasing some owner's property. And it's a way for, I mean, Gerald wouldn't do it for free. He would be making money on it, which makes sense to me. He wouldn't want to take the job on if you weren't going to make something. But it clearly violates what we have.
Right, but he's not
in the
allowed to do
covenants.
that.
But he's just said, is that possible that can happen? I know we aren't thinking that it's not likely, whatever. Is it possible?
Yes.
I see it either being a model or the individual that owns the tiny home, not directly leasing, but through us as one common management.
It can happen. That's what you just said.
Now, I ask a question. What if I own this tiny home and I want to go someplace and I want my daughter to come and stay while I'm gone? Where are we coming from there? And
That's
I would
different
own-
than leasing it to your daughter. She's your daughter. She's coming there to do you a favor and stay in the home, so it's occupied.
Okay,
That's the difference. It's not, you're not going to lease it to your daughter. You're not expecting her
well,
to
heck
pay.
no, we're gonna get around it, aren't we?
Yeah, well, yeah, we are. Well, but it's a little more sensible if it's a family member coming in while you're gone than it is to rent, to lease it. But it's not supposed to happen. The actual covenants and restrictions say it shall be occupied by its owner and not be subleased. That's what was in there. Now we have this little addenda to that rule that says unless managed by the landlord. Well, that's just like saying, we're going to let him do it, and Gerald's going to, whatever he's going to do, he's going to screen people or whatever, but he's going to be paid to do that, and they're going to get around that rule that way.
I think we're really making a bigger issue out of this, because I don't see this becoming a rental community in any way, shape, or form. I mean, there's many people, the 4 people who live there now, 2 of them, well, 3 out of the 4 came from 2 hours or farther away. They're not, so we're bringing people in from out of the area to support the community. They're buying things here, they're supporting business here. And the handful of people that we're talking with right now coming in, there's 3 or 4 that's pretty serious about coming in. They're an hour away, they're 3 hours away, they're 5 hours away. They're not local people, so we're bringing people into the community, which I thought was a
And
good
we
thing.
will.
Well, that's fine if they want to buy a little home and set it up down
And
there.
I thought that was a good thing, and so that's what I was hoping is one point, no more than 3 days or 3 nights. I'm not looking at this being a community. People that live there full-time are living there full-time. People that are there part-time are there part-time. There's not a big demand to open this up as a rental community. That's not the goal here.
But
No,
there's
but we
nothing to
can
stop
see
it.
it happen.
There's nothing to stop it. That, I
Right.
mean, if we agree with this. And the only thing that we could do is to say that, is to change
Because it
that
could happen with the campground too.
would be to change the verbiage to
No, we don't.
No?
unless managed by
But they
the,
stopped it.
unless owned and managed by the landlord. Then it would have to be something that Gerald owned and used for that purpose alone, to allow people to come in, get a feel for what the tiny homes are like. You know, I don't know, I said what I.
Do you
what I
let
wanted
you,
to
do they
say.
let you drive a car for 2 or 3 days before you decide whether you want to buy it or not?
Well,
Well,
I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying
what I'm
now,
saying.
but I thought and understood this to be as far as the tiny homeowners go, there's no leasing. There's no renting them out. I don't care what the situation is. It's not going to happen. I thought that they were wanting to bring a model in to let people just stay in it a couple nights to see what it was like, to see if they'd be interested in buying a tiny home from all these different, one of these companies. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
And that's how I understood this to be going down.
And it very well might be that scenario.
But that's
But
still
it's not a
breaking the
guarantee
rule.
that it's going to be that scenario. Very well might be, doesn't mean it will be. I'm sorry.
But you got to guarantee that.
Would you be willing to put in there, if we had additional language that make you feel better, if we said?
No, I like it the way it is.
You like the way
I'd
it
like
is?
to make a motion if I could. I'd like to make a motion and leave it just like it is.
I second it.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Ken? Yes.
I
Luther?
understand.
Say,
Next thing,
Ralph?
Yes.
If the landlord wants to come in and take all the remaining spots there is down there now, because he can't sell what he's got, he can use that whole area down there to sublease and to show off his wares. And we'd be totally against what we already set out to be to begin with. That they're supposed to be owned and maintained by the owners. And they're not to be supposed to be subleased. He's going against his own rules. Because now he's become the owner. And he
But
could
it
put-
says right
he could
here-
put 10 He could put 10 tiny homes down there.
But it says right here, you can't sublease them.
He subleased them, and he started breaking in here and started
But
showing
see,
them off.
what's been added there changes that. You can't
All the
sublease them
remaining
unless
spots
he
down there
does.
could be brought in by all the various manufacturers that he's got there. And it could become a management situation like the mayor's talking about. Only through the landlord instead of through the individuals.
So, I have a question. Is it approved the way it's written, the way you reviewed it tonight?
No, it is not. It would be.
I still don't
No
understand.
changes have been approved, is that correct?
That's the way I support it, yes. No changes to be made.
Is that the way the motion, would you read that back to us? You have that written down?
I don't think that's the way you reviewed it.
That's what I have, no changes, and as it sits now, that's how I make my motion to be, as it, not with the new,
Not this new.
like it was we approved months ago.
Why don't we just redo that vote and please make your motion and make it clear?
Can we do it?
Well, sure we can. If it wasn't clear, I'd like clarification on the motion.
The motion I made was to leave it as is, that we approved of
and that's
several
how I
months ago.
understood it.
Isn't this the way it is?
No.
No, it isn't.
No.
This is a new addition to it.
Oh, I thought this is the way it
No,
is.
no. It
That's what I
isn't.
keep asking you.
Well, I've said 3 times, Luther, that when they added that little part there, and that changes the whole thing.
So this is like an amendment or something?
It's
That's what
amended
he-
with
No,
that's what
it
he's
would
asking.
be.
I got you, okay. I thought this was set in stone.
No.
Not that, no, we have not, that's why he came to us tonight,
Okay.
because he wanted to get your opinions on adding, unless managed by the landlord, is an addenda to the existing agreement.
Okay, I got you.
The motion is to not allow the addenda and to keep the existing agreement. Would you call the roll again, please?
Mary Jane?
Wait a minute, you have to
Oh, that's the
rescind
motion.
the motion.
Well, Ralph just said,
Okay, I didn't hear you.
I rescind the motion.
Okay,
The motion
and
on that
he's
one.
moved.
Is I want to make the motion to leave
let's
the
rescind
agreement
the.
as is, that the property owners have to live in those individual tiny homes and cannot sublease, nor can the landlord sublease as per our
I agree with
Okay,
that.
so you rescinded your motion, and I'm going to second it. And then you can make another motion. You can't put it all in the same.
Then you need to roll call on that one.
On being rescinded. Ralph has moved to rescind the motion. Mary Jane has seconded.
Mary Jane?
Call roll.
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Yes. Luther?
Yeah.
Peggy?
Now, I want to,
On the rescinded motion,
Yes,
are you voting or are you abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Ralph,
now I want to make a motion. Is there
are you voting on rescinding? Say it,
Yes.
please. Okay.
Yes.
Now, you tried that.
Okay,
All right. Now,
The motion is to leave the agreement as is, that we agreed upon several months ago,
the ordinance or
The ordinance.
contract.
where the property owners cannot sublease it out, nor can the landlord sublease it. That's what we agreed upon.
And I second that motion.
Okay, what about these other builders? Is that in the,
That these builders are the ones that.
that's just a part of the original.
That, we agreed that these builders are the only ones that can
the
provide
original?
the
I
property.
thought,
Well,
down
the
there.
one that's in place right now.
okay,
That everything that's there is in place right now with the exception of this passage unless managed by the landlord. That's the only change on this covenants and restrictions on Exhibit B. Okay? So all these people listed here are still the approved, everything else stays the same. And this will be stricken or will not be voted on.
Okay.
The motion was to leave it as it was passed previously. Is there a second?
I second.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Ken? Yes. Luther?
Yes.
Peggy?
yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
All right. We had an ad that ran on the radio and it ran in the local paper and we,
What local paper?
I think it ran in the Communicator for sure.
What was it? What was the ad?
The ad was for someone to work part-time for the village doing street work, that the mowing and painting curbs and that type of thing for the summer, up through whatever.
What month was that in the Communicator?
It was in the Communicator in April. We have had no responses to that advertisement. None. Well, it's mowing time, and the park has to be kept mowed. Our own property here has to be kept mowed. So Randy Shar is already mowing our sanitation properties. We have asked him to contract with us. We will pay him the $12 an hour, which is what we were going to pay whoever we hired, to mow. It's not a full-time job, it's about 10 hours a week. I need a motion to approve hiring Randy Shar for 10 hours a week to do the mowing. He's using our equipment, and we'd like to pay him $12 an hour. Second.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Ken? Luther?
Yeah.
Peggy?
Yes.
He does.
mowed down, for, Arnott, Jim Arnott, that property was just now mowed. Is that, whose property who owns that property?
That's a sanitation thing.
It still is under Jim Arnett's name according to the courthouse. There's been a big squabble over that for several years now. And when Jim sold his business on contract, I can't remember the guy's name that bought that now. Anyway, I kept sending letters out. Jim came to me and said that that was a corporation, not to send him the letters anymore. But if the property, according to the tax and the auditors, or the office at the courthouse, it's still under Jim's name.
Well, the contract was never met. The guy didn't pay for it, he quit, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's
And
never
Lee,
been,
I
it's
don't-
never been changed. It's Jim Orton's name.
So anyway, no one was mowing it. The guy that was there that was buying the place, the business, brought the village, he turned the property over to the village, but he didn't do it legally. So Rick, at the time, Rick Van Winkle was the mayor, and he gave the deeds back to the guy. And then he came down here one day and brought them back and wanted us to have them. It was locked up in the safe. And then when Steve Bruns was our village solicitor, he said to send them back. So I took it, because I was here the day he was here, I took it upon myself to get all of that, and I mailed it all back to him. And nobody wants to claim that property,
Then why did
and they don't want to mow it,
So
so.
it just got mowed,
All
right?
right, so what is happening now, I signed the papers to have the taxes assessed, because it's still under Arnett's name. So, and they wanted to put a park there by the laundromat at one time, and that was his reasoning for turning the deed over to the village, but he didn't do it properly. It wasn't legal, but you just don't hand somebody a deed to your property without going and having it recorded and everything. So that's the reason it was sent back twice.
Anyway, we are billing the taxes. It goes on the tax bill, and that's no.
Okay, now, why hasn't any of the other ones been taxed?
They are.
Like who?
The place down in Engle Edition, several of them have been taxed.
All of them?
That's why we wound up with the school, too. Because they owed, at the time, over $6,000, because I had to hire someone, or the village had to hire someone to keep it maintained, because the property owner wasn't doing it.
Well, the apartment building down there, back there where you live, Sour Drive, why don't we have that mowed?
It's private property, but they do get letters to keep it.
They do get letters.
Yeah.
Okay, so that, as long as they get letters, they don't have to mow the grass, is that what
Well,
you're saying?
no, they're supposed to mow it, and if they don't, we go through the process like we have been always. And if we are to hire somebody to mow it, then they get their taxes assessed.
Are we clear on that?
And if you take it to court, the court system in the past 2 years, they fine them, but they don't make them pay. They don't make them mow or don't make them clean up anything.
Who's they?
The court system.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so that's
that's-
what we're working on. I mean, that's part of the new sanitation, is so that we can just,
Go in there and get it cleaned
Clean it up
up
ourselves
mostly.
and
And then
put it on
we
the tax
assess
bill.
taxes.
Is the other part of that job still
Yes,
The other part
it
is
is.
not the mowing's already been contracted.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the other part.
Well,
The
the
other-
maintenance part, but we still need somebody to do the other part.
That's still open.
And it's about 10 hours a week. Okay, moving on, safety with this,
Police department handled 99 calls for service for the month of April, made 14 reports, 1 arrest, issued 6 citations, and gave 23 warnings. A few other things on here I got. Officer Stevens successfully completed evidence technician training. So we're lucky to have 2 of us now, myself and him, that are both evidence technicians. Officers have completed their yearly taser qualifications. We got to do that every year. And then officers now are equipped with tourniquets and holders that they can either keep them themselves or in the car with them just in case they need it. I also got 2 beacon flare kits that are in their set of 3 that remove cruisers instead of using actual smoke flares, which can cause fires and other stuff like that. It can cause damage. These are actually battery powered flares that are magnetic and everything else like that. A few other things I don't have on there. I talked to the mayor. I think I also talked to Ralph about trying to figure out something new with the tornado sirens. I talked to Dave Anderson from the Carter County EMA. He advised me that there was no grants through the or any upgrades or anything for the tornado sirens.
I also tried to go through the fire department for the same thing, had no luck either.
So we're the only ones in Preble County that still manually
We have to
has
do it
to try to
ourselves.
set up tornado sirens. Everybody
Yeah.
else is set up through the sheriff's department, dispatch, and they automatically set them off, drop them in there. We're the only ones in Preble County that manually has to still turn them on and set them.
how many arms and legs would it cost us to get up to 21st century?
More than what's in this.
You know,
More arms and legs than we got. Well, I figured that. Okay. Yeah, and that's not good. We shouldn't have to wait for something to happen to be able to
I've been talking with
get
Brad,
something done.
Chief Simpson of the firehouse and everything, trying to see if there's something that we can come up with or work with.
still working on it, so.
That's what we should just keep
We're not gonna quit.
plugging away. That's all we can do. Thank you, Jeremy. Building. Nothing?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, other than I will get down there to talk to them about cleaning.
I'm going to go with her.
Okay, about coming in here, cleaning and doing a decent job. Good, thank you. Streets.
I have one issue on here about, doesn't pertain to the streets, but it does pertain to the ditch river where the beaver dam was at. We did get that removed and the water is flowing freely again. And there is a tree that was reported down on out into the township area that lays across that same waterway that if there's an issue, it could back up and bring the water back up to us, but the beaver dam is.
And the county has said, well, if it gets caught on the bridge, we'll look at it.
We're going to wait till something happens before they decide to do something. That's already been reported. So we did
The
try.
county or the town?
No, the county, which they came to us and told us we had to get that out of there, that beaver dam
Who
thing.
told you to say that?
The county.
Well, there's a lady that lives over here at the end of Main Street.
Yes.
And she, no, I'm sorry, Water Street, right across the street from here. And she was very concerned because of the water backing up.
I understand that. I don't blame people at all. I really don't. But if they could come to us and say, you gotta get that out of there. They didn't make any bones about it. We had to get it out of there. Why don't they go to the township and say, you guys gotta do something about this? I thought there were 2 trees down.
There's only one that I
Is there
know.
only one?
I thought all that was
That
gonna
was
be
mentioned to me
cleaned out.
today. Maybe more than one, but I wasn't.
Well, I don't understand why they told us and they won't tell the township to get the tree out of the creek or the river.
The only thing I have on the streets is, when Vectron was doing whatever they were doing, they tore up a lot of yards, and they put nothing back. Not Vectron, the Premier, or whoever they
Yeah,
were.
working for veterans.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
yeah, because I've had a lot of people come to me and complain, hey, what are you gonna do about my yard? It's been dug up all the way back there, and all they did was throw some dirt down. And I can see their point too, because where I live on the corner of Pearl and Washington there, I've got chunks out.
Got it all over.
I've got chunks all over there, and all they did was take sand gravel, dump sand gravel there. Okay? And then my curb that runs down alongside my street, it's all broke up from their equipment. And I spoke to Jimmy briefly about it, and Jim said that Vectron would contract somebody out, I guess, to come and fix all this stuff.
Well, officials already been here doing a lot of paving repair.
And right there on my corner where, I guess where a lot of this stuff tied in at, they put some blacktop in there. But if you come around the side of my house now, where they put that blacktop, you'll see that blacktop starting to sink. You know, give away, you know what I mean? And so I'm not parking my car on it.
Well, I don't blame you.
But we'll try to follow up on that.
I didn't know what to do about it, or, you know.
Followed up on you, I'm gonna get a hold of veteran and, you know.
I just wanted to know how we
When are
handle
they
that,
gonna be
that's
in
all,
here to finish
basically.
this up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need a name or number for record,
I will need that too.
Because they seem to,
I'll-
when they
I'll
came down
send-
Cherry,
I'll
they
send it
seem
down
to
here
come back
today.
and fix it.
Right, right.
I'll send it down here to you.
Also, Jimmy went to a DOT meeting about the 320 Washington Street repaving. It is going to happen. They're going to mill a 3-inch, take a 3-inch mill off the top of it and fix that. Am I right on that, Sue? Do you have that number?
No.
Okay. But,
That's
and I assume they're
typical.
going all the way to New Mexico with that, I think. But that will have nothing to do with us, but that's.
And my understanding is then they're also going north of town, and they're going all the way to the South Fork and
Didn't realize that.
and then they both New Mexico.
We'll stop right there where all the damage is.
Very high, right?
On the
They're
park.
supposed to be the cheaper too.
And when they come through to do the repaving on Washington, they are not responsible for repainting the parking spots, so we'll have to do that ourselves. And ProGrade is progressing nicely on Cherry Street project and have been very accommodating and good to work with. Their plan is to have the curbs done today, and most of them were done today. And they will be moving on to the driveway approaches later on as the weather will allow them to do that. And I would like to thank all the residents on Cherry Street that have been putting up with this and
Yeah.
having to walk over the gravel and into the holes and park anywhere else in
It's
town.
just, it's a mess, and even I know they're really trying hard to get access for
Trying
people,
real
but it's
hard
still
to
miserable.
accommodate it, and eventually we'll get back to, a good street again. But right now, I do like to thank everybody on Cherry Street for putting up and having patience for all this that's going on. But it will be a great street when it gets done.
And I just got a text message too from Darren that they will be, Perjury will be notifying all the property owners again about the driveway approaches, but they're not allowed to drive on for 7 days, but they have to cure. And they'd given them a letter previously, but it had been a while back, and then the weather got bad. So I asked them to make sure that Perjury gave them another letter to be a little more specific. So
The original letter was to take place, I think, the 29th
Yeah.
of April.
So they're gonna.
7 days have
Yeah.
passed.
They're gonna reissue that letter with some different dates so that people are aware.
Thank you.
Do we have any of that regrind left from the streets from like last since this is ours, we have the creek out here and all, it's kind of hard to try to get the people along Shanks Ditch, clean all of that out when we don't have ours cleaned.
Maybe down here or.
Yeah.
Where's the problem now, right out here?
I'm just saying, the brush and the trees, you know how Shanks Ditch is?
I do, yes.
It's all, you can't even hardly see the creek anymore for all the growth that's all over it. Well, ours is the same way. And if you want to enforce them to clean the creek out, since it's the property owners, I think we need to do ours first.
If we're going to do anything, we need to start down at that bridge past the library there, or at the library.
Yeah, but how do you enforce that when we don't do ours?
That is ours.
Oh, okay, that one.
That right there
Yeah.
needs to
Where
be
the
done.
parking lot's at, right there.
But we also have all this out here too.
Well, I don't know.
Point.
We have to look and see.
Because I don't have answers for these people
I mean, there's no
when they
way.
say you don't do yours, and it looks, to me, I think all this stuff that's laying out here by the salt bed needs to be moved. There was some metal and stuff laying out there, and all that needs to be
Take a look at it
taken care of.
and see about getting.
Clean this place up, because it's hard to try to make property owners in the village clean theirs up when we don't do anything with ours.
Well,
And how do
I'd
you-
like you to get us some examples of what you're talking about, and talking about the metal. and
Just
I'm
drive
talking
down
about
to
the-
121, you can see what I'm talking about.
But you can't see there, Jane, there's trees growing.
That's
The
what I'm
actual,
saying.
yes, but the river itself is past them.
Huh?
The river itself is this way from a lot of those trees.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of growth around through there. And you're wanting to do the same thing with Shanks Ditch.
I don't
And
know that well, we just need to look at it and get a report on it, and then see what's gonna cost us to get them all cleaned up.
Some of
But that place up there,
It's private property, that is a village property, some of that
you mean on this side? Okay. I don't know what's ours and what isn't ours.
is. Some of it is private property on
Well,
the east side of 120.
Well, our part needs to be cleaned wherever it is.
Well.
Because it's all a mess down there.
we have gotten a lot of it done, but I'm all for looking at the rest of it, because I agree, it needs to all be cleaned up. Anything else on the streets?
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I told Ruth a month or two ago about the sign, the street sign at Federico Drive and South Spring Street. Was
The street name of the sign.
Yes.
Is that what you, yes, ma'am?
Yes,
It's missing,
it is missing.
yes,
Why is it missing?
because I think someone stole it.
Why did somebody get a chance to steal it when I told him that the property was laying down on the street, and I told him that was down, and I kept, every day, I saw it laying down, and every day, and every day, and every day, all at once, it disappeared. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that
Because
amazing?
somebody wanted to work with me.
Some people like signs,
Yes.
but.
Well, there's several
How's
signs
somebody
that
how's
really
somebody
limit
taken
the
care
day
of,
because
since
somebody
you're on the
likes
street committee?
Because I don't remember you telling me that. That's why.
All right, but I agree with you. It
It's-
should have been
It will
picked
be
up
put
early.
back up. I talked to Jimmy today about it, thinking, and that will be,
And that's an honest answer.
it will be put back up because we have to order a new sign because it is missing. Not only was it down, but now it's missing.
It should have been missing because something should have been done about a long time ago.
An accident caused that to fall down.
That's right.
And it was not
It was
done
not repaired.
It wasn't repaired right away because part of it was because of the weather. It didn't get repaired right away.
Well, then it
When we
should
we
it up
hit
and put
it,
it
when
here.
we went to get it, to repair it, to put it back up, it was gone.
Okay,
But it will be put back up.
Thank you.
good. Let's move on to lights.
Yeah, let's go to lights. The one on Washington Street and Melody Lane is
Still out.
not working.
Well, we just have to keep calling and turning that number in.
Did
That's
the one get,
nuts.
did the one get here on the property here, did it get taken care of?
Nope, it's not,
It's still off, man.
Yes,
I
she
think.
says it's still out.
I don't drive here at night, is it still off? We don't know. Is that still out there still? Honestly, I don't know.
But
I don't know. I'm not here after dark.
We just need to get those numbers called in again and just do it every day. I mean, just make it an everyday thing until they're fixed. That's the only thing I can think of.
Is there a contract up for Miami Valley Lighting?
Yeah. All right. Finance, I want the finance committee to keep in mind that there's a 2 mil levy that will be up for renewal this fall, it's general fund levy. Either we, I can't say that I think we could do without it, but we aren't in a, we need to think about what we want to do, and then in June, go ahead and start the ball rolling to get it on the ballot or not, whichever you choose, for November.
Has to be on by August if we're going to.
It does, it has to be in, so we'll do
Get
it.
it on there? What do we have to do to get it on there? That's resolution.
We just need it, maybe to pass a resolution, or and get it to the court. Yeah. It's a renewal levy for general fund.
Funds? Okay, gotcha.
Sanitation,
Oh, no, you got something, go ahead.
I got something on the property on 203, 205, a double. Roger Smith, is that his name?
203 and 205,
Where?
Washington.
Yeah, North Washington.
Thank you.
Okay.
I contacted him, and I said, you know, it's a mess down there, you know, can we do anything about it? And he said he talked to the people that rent, okay?
Okay.
So, they improved it. But I don't know if they improved it to your specification, but they tried, okay? Going in 144 North Washington, which is a deplorable condition, which Ron Clemens that owns the thing, he put up, he's done a lot of fixing up on that, make it out there. Put a bunch of, board, what do they call that board? Pressure board or whatever.
Pressure treated?
Yeah, whatever. Well, anyhow, he's got that all up on the side of his house, he's done that. And then we go to Wren Avenue, 400 Wren Avenue, where the tree was knocked down. I talked to him yesterday, and he said that he wants to see paperwork that it's not his responsibility.
It is his responsibility.
I'm saying
I
he
know.
wants
Yeah, I know.
paperwork to see if it's his responsibility. He's not going to do anything until he sees paperwork. That's what he tells me. Okay, Mayor?
Okay.
Okay.
Are
Now,
you doing anything to find paperwork that he needs?
what's that?
Who's looking for this paperwork that he needs?
The ordinance that says that tree went down between the sidewalk and the curb. He said has to prove that it's his responsibility.
Is that a zoning thing, Mary Jane, or is that?
Zoning.
It could be something.
Who's doing
I'm
it?
thinking it's, well, we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at the zoning and see if we can get that covered in that and get that to him.
Okay.
Because it's a general,
I'll
it's not
mention
just.
that to, I know we don't have an ordinance because it's under most all, it's under some, I can't remember what it's exactly under. But it's just anytime there's a street and the part in between the street and the sidewalk is always the property owner.
They have to keep it mowed, they have to keep it
Mowed
maintained.
and maintained, even the sidewalk, but we never enforce people to fix the sidewalk. They usually go ahead and do it, most people do.
What about the tree?
The tree is in between the curb and
I
the
understand
sidewalk,
that.
yeah.
So
yeah.
whose responsibility is
It's the
that?
property owner.
Okay.
But
He
we
wants
want
to go-
something in writing, and
Well,
I've been
yeah.
looking, and I haven't found it yet,
Okay, thanks.
but I will get it.
He said he'd look in the zoning.
Okay, what else we got, Penny?
On, when Johnny Moran was here, and I thought I understood you to say that we weren't allowed, the council member, we're not allowed to get on private property.
Right, I told you that.
Huh?
If you're there for business, for the village, to take pictures or whatever, we're not allowed to go on the property without their permission.
You can ask them for permission to come over their property.
But otherwise, we cannot get on it, is that
No,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay, that's difficult for us, Mary Jane.
I know it is, that's why I have a zoom lens on my camera.
No, but because when you gave me that list last year about the swimming pool.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we went down there, was on that property.
huh?
We was on there, we didn't get caught.
Have we talked to that gentleman yet about
No.
getting that drained? Please do that.
Yeah.
What?
That pool is not maintained at all.
Did we ever decide, is that Lynn's property?
It's the trailer that faces Hutton Street.
It's the trailer.
But everybody
property,
thinks
not-
it belongs to somebody on High Street.
Because Kobe Litton is the one that owns that house on High Street, and
That's
I
right.
know he had a.
He has a pool, but he has a fence around it.
Well, I was gonna say the bank owns that property now. It's on the sheriff.
Oh,
Well, if
I
they
get it.
get it, because that needs to be drained and covered, or we're gonna have mosquito heaven again this summer.
Okay,
And there was complaints of the, are you finished? I'm sorry.
go ahead, Mary Jane.
Complaints from people down in the Engle Edition about a bunch of furniture people been putting, I thought over the fence, but it wasn't. It was still on the property at the trailer park. And I called, I did get a hold of the Rex, the guy that owns the trailer park. I talked with him and his son. His son said he would take care of it. I went down through Engle Edition and looked over at the fence, and I couldn't find anything down there, just done it before I came to the meeting. So evidently it's been taken care of. If not, tomorrow, or when I leave, I can't see after dark, but I'll go down there tomorrow and drive through to see if it's been cleaned up or not.
Have you got Joanne's address?
No,
It should be
I don't.
behind her, it's not in her yard, but it's behind her place. It's 202 Nelson. And I'm sure if you go to the door and tell her what you want to see, she'll give you permission to go back there
I have a
and
question.
take a look.
I have a question.
Okay.
Up on Spring Street, I don't know, I guess it would be South Spring, the corner, the four-way stop on Cherry.
Okay, coming this way,
Going out, four-way stop there. There's a big gray house on the corner there, big double. Okay, are we allowed to park our semis in the backyard?
No, I don't believe you are.
Park on the street, though.
They're not even supposed to be on the street.
Because they park their semis there all the time, and I see them there all the time. And right now, there's probably about 8 vehicles parked out back.
No.
But they do park their semis there, and I thought we weren't allowed to do that.
What property are you talking about precisely? What's the number of the property?
Okay, you know where the double is?
Yes.
The house just past it.
I don't know, I bet
She
you
lives
can.
Huh?
He lives there.
Oh, okay. But are you allowed to park your semis in the
I would
backyard?
say you probably are, if not in the yard, in a parking area.
He has a gravel parking area.
He just had a gravel parking done 2 days ago.
Those are parked right up to the
And
house.
They had a bobcat come in, and all of them looked good. And
I don't know, I
You're
just
allowed
asked.
to park them on your property in a driveway or a spot that you've designated for parking.
He
You
does
can't
that.
park it in the yard,
He does that, he
right,
does that.
no, you can't have them on the street.
That falls under zoning, and it's actually, I think you're allowed to have the truck parked on your property.
The tractor,
You can't have-
not tractor,
Yeah,
tractor.
not have the trail park, part of the truck.
Just a truck, okay.
Just the truck.
Okay.
And that falls under zoning.
No, I was just curious.
I know the property you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Eddie, is there anything else?
There was something else. What was? Let's see.
Please remember
Oh,
that.
I've been trying to get a hold of the attorney to talk with him about the ordinances that we've been trying to get. Haven't had any luck with that yet. I went to the city building at Eaton and talked with them, talked with the zoning and sanitation department about how they do their process, and it's the same thing that we have. So, and they have changed theirs like we did last summer about getting the grass. They give you 5 days to get the grass mowed up and all. But they do have to be notified, like a letter or a card or whatever, but you have to hand it to them. And I don't know, when you hand it to them, like the police department always delivers all that they can here in the village, because there's a card that they fill out when they deliver them that puts the time that they were
When it was done.
delivered. So that I will know what day to start the process and all. So they're doing the same thing down there, but they have the same problems that we do with a lot of people know how to play the system and all. So it's no different down there, but what we can do with like that trailer that's down on North Street,
Okay.
is to just send them a notice and let them know
This is North
that
High.
this is 5 days, as long the trash or whatever
Yes.
we have described under trash and litter, then we can go in there and clean that up. If they don't, and there's several places here in the village that we won't be doing that.
Okay.
If they are cleaning it up, and they are cleaning that property up, at their time, but they are cleaning it up. You're talking about the one on North High Street?
Yeah,
Okay. They're getting all that mess out
They
there.
work on
They
it.
are working on it.
They have been working on it for the past 5 years.
I understand. I
So at
understand.
some point,
But they're doing that just recently. So
Oh,
what are you gonna
okay.
say? What are you gonna, how are we gonna approach that if they're doing it?
Well,
if
I
they're
think when
trying?
you talk to Mr. Kovach, I would ask him, we can't say you've got,
Give
know,
him a
once you
time
commence,
limit.
you've got 2 weeks, you've got 10 days,
Right.
you've got this much time.
because when I send the letters out, I always send an appeals form with it. So that they know, and I let them know if they need more time to clean it up in the letter, then they need to fill the appeals form out and have it back to me so that we can give them more time.
But
But
we really need
we
to
need
get
to
the
set a
bugs in
limit
database
on the
and
time to get it
going.
done. And then if they don't have it done, we can go in there and clean it up.
Okay.
Well, what about this in the communication from the mayor, when you talked to Mary Jane about derelict buildings? What are you doing about that?
About building.
Well, it says here, look at your minutes. The mayor asked Mary Jane to contact the health department about getting rid of derelict buildings.
Oh, yes, that's what assistant administrator for the village, for the city of Eaton, and he said that he did not know of any grants or anything at this time, and they have a process like we have, but you have to get it condemned and go through the process. They don't just have a certain thing they can go in there and
But I think the thing was, the health department had made a statement that they were more active in condemning properties like that. And I wanted to know if you could find out exactly.
I talked with the
how
health
they were more
department,
active.
they referred me to Mr. Farrell.
And that makes no sense. Okay, thank you, I appreciate it. I have sanitation here, Rumpke has is there I'm sorry, you finished. Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to hold the town cleanup on Saturday, May 18th, from 7 to 11, and to set aside $1,000 to pay Rumpke for,
Up
to
to
pay the landfill? Rumpke isn't charging us
Did we use
anything.
all that money last year?
They did not use it all last year.
No, they didn't use it all last year.
But
and
that's
it
no
was-
reason to give them more money. If they didn't use it all last year, it was 1,000. Do you think 1,000 would still be?
Oh, yeah, I think
It
that last year
would
they only
be-
used between 500 and 600.
About 600 something.
Yeah.
And there was a mention of using what was left, if there was any left over, to get rid of some of the tires around town, but, I
We
don't know.
we had a tire cleanup not
In
too
April.
long ago.
You could take as many as 10 down there and
At
make
the
an appointment.
fairground, they have it at the fairground.
It's down at the landfill. You make an appointment to take them to the landfill. And that was in April, like the 13th.
Yeah, I think it's in October that they have another
They might.
cleanup that you can take your tires to the Preble County Fairgrounds. There is a limit on them, but there was, I don't think there was a charge for it.
There's no
might
charge
be
for
a-
this, but you were limited to the number you could take.
Yes.
And you had to make arrangements ahead of
Right.
time.
And you
So
had to
that-
take it where? To this-
In the spring, it goes to landfill. Back to the town cleanup. Mark Hoffman is going to bring his athletes down again, as he did in the past.
Yes.
And I think it's all set to go. Are we in favor of doing this? It's already in the,
I'll make a motion to allow up to $1,000 for the village
For
cleanup
dummies.
day on May 18th
I
of this
second.
current year, and use specifically for the cleanup and everything that would help to do with that.
Second.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Ken? Yes. Elizabeth?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
now, they will be here at like they were last year, we were about 6:30.
Yeah.
I won't be here.
I told Mark I'd be here.
Will you come and let them in?
I told
Because
them.
I think Greg, probably,
Gonna-
be Greg.
yeah.
They'll bring breakfast in, they brought donuts and orange juice and that kind of stuff, like Kiwanis did last year.
I
And,
told Mark I'd be here.
so if you can do that for me, I appreciate it.
Sure.
I knew you were here last year, so that's wonderful. And,
He's supposed to bring the forms too.
he is, make sure he's got them all. I do trust him, he had them all, and he knew all, he made sure he had all of them last year. The
Yeah.
boys couldn't come unless they had the,
Parents,
the signatures to allow them to. And we're on this agreement with Rumpke, we are telling them that there will be a waiver for the volunteers, so holding them harmless. So we'll get this back to Rumpke right away. They are, of course, they do it and at no charge for us, so that's great. Planning, nothing? Anything, Ralph? The board has anything to tell us, do they?
Yes, at our last meeting, we did hire a contractor who is going to take care of the sewer plant. He actually starts next Monday. He will work the required 20 hours a week. His name's David Thompson, he lives in Eaton. He's retired from Miamisburg. He worked there for 25 years as their plant operator. So he is going to run the sewer plant for us. Also, Steve, that is doing it for us now, he's agreed to be our backup operator, so we will have it covered no matter what, right, either way as far as the sewer plant. And this is going to be on a contract basis, there'll be no benefits, no extra pay, it'll just be an hourly rate. And Steve, that's all he'll do, just completely run the sewer plant. He has to do 5 days a week, 5 days a week, 20 hours a day, 20 hours a week, I'm sorry.
Kind of like me, I work 3 hours a day.
Oh, thank you, Chris, and we're real happy that that's resolved itself as quickly as it did. Because like Madison is still looking for somebody after, you know.
Thanks for
so-
working so hard.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Just gonna make it easier on everybody.
Resolution and ordinance, we don't have anything, I don't think. Now we will look at something for the, to put this levy on the ballot in June. And park, I hope you see that the proceeds from the car show were $4,831.25. They worked very hard, the weather was beautiful, and that surely helped us a lot. But it was a very nice day and a nice car show. I think they had 78 vehicles. And in fact, they had 40-some last year, so just keep it, expect it to keep growing and growing. So they worked very hard.
And that was Legion ongoing, or Legion that's supposed to sell, or?
No, that was Wanda Melody and Todd Stewart.
Associates.
And yes, and few of the members of the park committee came up and worked, you know, and their families. I beg your pardon?
Alan put a lot of that together.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He helped his mom. And Ben was there, you know, and it was very nice.
Well, thanks to all that was involved in that.
Yeah.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Yeah, Shirley was there, she was bossing me around.
Well, that's her job.
That's our
what
job,
we're
why,
supposed to do.
isn't it?
Okay.
Why did she marry you?
Damn!
We are ready for unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business that needs to be discussed this evening? New business? I think we put all our new business into committees, you know, in the reports, so I think that it's all compartmentalized and taken care of. I have no communications to give you, no words of wisdom, nothing. It's too late, we're all tired.
I do want to make it known to the
Yes.
council members,
When do I?
make it known to the council members.
Yes,
I'm setting up a meeting on the 24th of May for the park committee. And if any of the council members would like to come and sit and see what happens and what's going on, you're more than welcome to come in and see what's going down. And they're getting
Located.
right here, and they have a chairman, they have assistant chairman, they have a secretary, they have a secretary, and they have like a PR person now, and they are working on the tax number.
Is that a Sunday?
once they get that tax designation, they no longer have anything to do with us anymore. They're their own entity, I will tell you. We still have the final say on anything that gets done at the park, because it has to come through the council.
Yeah,
But,
and they're aware of that.
but.
Because I make them
I'm
aware
making
of
council
that,
aware,
yeah.
because once they have that, they're their own group.
Yeah, well, and I think the importance of that tax number for them, because like I personally, like right now, I know of about 5 people that are willing to donate $2,000 to $3,000, like write a check right now, but they want a tax number.
I don't blame people.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I think they got some good people on this committee. You know who they
Yes,
are.
they do.
And they're working hard, and they really want to see a park happen up there. And they know that everything that they're doing, and they're going to be done, is structured through the council.
What time is that meeting?
Yeah.
6:30.
It's the 24th.
22nd?
You said 22nd, or we
I
said
know.
24th.
That's all right.
You know, I have to go home and I'm shook up, okay?
We're sorry. We kept you here as long as humanly possible.
It's 22nd or 24th? Which is-
22nd. It's a Wednesday, right? 22nd? Yes. Okay.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
So disregard the 24th.
Yes, I'm
All
sorry.
right,
My bad, my
To
bad.
make it clear, the park committee meeting, you're all invited to attend, is on the 22nd of May here in this room
Yes,
at 6:30 PM.
and I will be here,
All right.
and Ralph will be here.
Is there any further business? Our next meeting will be June 3rd at 7 PM. Is there a motion to adjourn? I don't move.
I second it.